going to have the black king is going to be on e5. The white king is going to be on h1. Black knight will be sitting right next to the king on d5. And the queen will be on d3. As with the queen versus bishop, the queen versus knight is a fairly simple win, but you got to be very careful about knight forks. With white to move, king to h2, because if we go to f2, do you see the issue with this? If not, we have this knight jump, automatically losing this and going into a draw. We're going to stay off of that. A quick thing that I actually remember is that the knight obviously can only attack the same colored squares, just like a bishop. If I'm able to keep my queen and my king on alternate colored squares, then they're typically pretty safe from forks. For example, if they go to this f4 square, then all of the ways that the knight can attack is all white squares. So by moving to h2, we're staying out of any of these potential forks. King to e6, he's trying to drop back the king. Remember, a knight can be tricky, and if you're not paying any attention, it can fork you and win the queen. So be very, very careful. King to e6, queen to d4. From here, because our king and our queen are so far away, we don't have any of these potential forks. Also because this knight will be jumping to a dark square, then it will be attacking dark squares, or light squares. The queen moves up, takes command of a few more squares. White's king and queen will continuously do this that slowly but surely, the enemy king will be pushed to the side of the board. Here's some useful advice from Silman's Endgame course. In this endgame, the stronger side's plan is easy. You want to push the enemy king to the side of the board and mate it. However, make sure you don't let the knight fork your king and queen. Knight to e7, which is a trick. Do you see what black is hoping for? Black is wanting me to go king to g3, so he can once again fork us. Be very careful about that. We need to get closer. We go queen to e4 check. We're on guard, we don't fall for that king to g3, knight f5 check. King to f6, king to g3. Now we can go to g3, because see how my queen and king are on opposite colors. No knight forks to be worried about. Knight to g6, and king to g4. Now, traditionally, this is a forking possibility if the knight were able to jump to this f6 or f2 squares, but the knight's not able to get there just yet. What we're threatening here is this queen to f5 check, followed by king to g5. Boop, boop. We go knight to e5 check, and then king to h5. Once again, you have to be careful. This is a potential to be forked if he was able to jump to the g3 square, but this knight's not able to get there fast enough. Like I said, always be mindful of these. King to e6, so giving up some ground. King to g5, king to d6, king to f5, knight to d7, queen d4 check, queen d4 check, king to e7, queen to d5. Patience is a very useful quantity here. Patiently taking more squares away from black's pieces, although queen to b4 check is another possibility, and it even is faster, but a basic box plan will make our life so much easier. So knight to f8, obviously taking away the e6 square, queen to c5 check. So look at this. The king's not able to go to f6, e6, d6, because they're all taken away. So he is forced to go back to either f7, which then I can take more ground, or go to the back rank, or jump up here to d7. So he goes king to f7, queen to c7 check. So black's king has finally been pushed to the side of the board, because he's going to have to go to one of the sides here. King to e8 is where he decides to go. King to f6, because obviously you can't come to e6 because of the knight, but we are threatening queen to e7 checkmate. So he goes knight to d7, king to e6, knight f8 check, king to d6. Because the knight's not able to escape off to this queen side, this is inevitable. The only stop that they have is this knight to g6 maneuver, which covers the e7 square, but gives the king also a place to run on f8. So we're going to go queen to g7. So we're forking, or actually it has a double attack thing here. So we're attacking this knight on g6, but also we're preventing the king from running over to h8 or to f8. So if he ever moves back here to d8, then we've got a mate in 2 here by queen to g8, knight to f8, and then queen takes f8 checkmate, which is what I do. King to d8. Oh, we also got checkmate here. Queen to d7 checkmate. So as we saw, to safely win this endgame, we first need to always be on the lookout for knight forks, use the king and queen effectively, chase the enemy king to his side of the board, and be patient. As your king and queen will cut off more and more of the board, you'll eventually be able to force your opponent to the sideline, where it's just where you want him. So, as we've seen with this video with the knight versus the queen, and in our previous video with the bishop versus the queen, is that minor pieces really have very little shot unless they're able to get you on some sort of a fork. So those are always things to be on guard for. And thank you for watching this video on part 2, Endgames for Class E players from Silman's Endgame course.